Well, as you know, in Europe, the protection of personal data is rooted in respect for people's privacy, their right to have family lives, having the right controls over who can see what when, and that's the very basis on which we seek to protect personal data in all circumstances. Now, you have to think about how you use that approach most effectively in the context of elections, where obviously there is quite a lot of personal data legitimately involved in the electoral process. But how do you make sure that that isn't raided or otherwise obtained and then misused or used in a disguised, non-transparent way that might have the effect of influencing the vote?
Let's move outside of the tech world a little bit, because when it comes to security, there are certainly other issues. Migration has been a big one recently in your world. Are you worried about the rise of some populist and very right-wing parties when it comes to that issue specifically?
Well, the first thing I would say is that we make a distinction. I work on these issues with my colleagues, a range of colleagues, but we make a distinction between the challenges that come from migration, on the one hand, not by any means to underestimate those challenges, and the challenges that we're dealing with, for example, in fighting terrorism, on the other hand. That's not to be naive. In 2015, there were some terrorists who sought to use migration routes to come back and carry out attacks in Europe. But there's still two different sets of issues that need distinct and specific treatment. So there is a security challenge around, for example, the risk of so-called returning foreign terrorist fighters, people who moved to Iraq or Syria to carry out what they perceive to be their struggle, and then might try and come back into Europe. We've done a lot to strengthen our controls to deal with that. So we have much stronger controls at our external borders. We have now a European Border and Coast Guards. We have a real effective information picture about who's coming in and out of our European shared space. We've boosted the cooperation between intelligence services, police services, border guards, immigration services all across Europe. So we're more secure in that way. But we also have to face the fact that in Europe, at least, over the last couple of years, 18 months, the attacks weren't carried out by individuals who'd travelled to Iraq or Syria and then come back. They were carried out by self-radicalised individuals who'd never travelled. Some of them radicalised in their own communities, some of them radicalised in their own bedrooms, which is why this problem of the radicalising effect of online terrorist content is so important. At the height of Daesh in 15, 16, beginning of 17, they were pumping out thousands of pieces of propaganda every month. Now, they've suffered reverses on the ground, as you know, in Iraq and Syria, but they're still producing material. They still use the internet to traffic their propaganda and their radicalising material. So it remains very much a problem that we need to deal with today.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now, to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.